very words, Daniel Shaw, Professor of International Affairs at the City University of New York. First off, Danny, I mean, you obviously know this region like the back of your hand. So you know how deeply embedded USAID has been in various operations there. Just looking back, and specifically at Cuba, how do you rate the agency's success there?
Good morning, Saskia. I've been documenting since the late 1990s to the present day how USAID, which aid has nothing to do with aid. It's the Agency of International Development. This is a color revolution, a regime change mechanism, funded to the tune of some $44 billion. We're talking about some 16,000 employees, now reduced to about 270 under the Trump government. They've been trying to overthrow the Cuban government for decades now. This is something that I have been documenting. The Gray Zone has documented as well. It's been very successful in making sure that more Cuban people are hungry and blockaded. How many hundreds of thousands of Cubans have been forced to leave their homeland because of this maximum pressure efforts by the Biden regime and now the Trump regime. So the National Endowment for Democracy, USAID, these are the CIA arms, but the Cuban people and their leadership have remained steadfast. But as I published a few weeks ago, there's a lot of hunger and despair in Cuba, and that's because of the United States strangulation campaign against their island.
You know, I want to ask you specifically about that kind of Cuban Twitter that was established, right, around 2010, 2010, called Zunzunio. Did you happen to sign on to it, or what were your thoughts at the time? Did you have any reaction? Did you suspect that something maybe was not quite right there?
Yeah, from the jump, I knew. And when I met with these individuals and was doing my own investigative reporting, in Cuba, their agents, there was this group called Omni Zona Franca, and then the whole Twitter internet operations. They were trying to win me over to be a type of international spokesperson for what they were trying to do. But I come from an anti-imperialist background, so I was able to sniff it out that from the beginning it smelled like what we would popularly call CIA operations. These individuals in Cuba always said that they were non-ideological, and they were attempting to recruit Afro-Cubans and rap artists. And then the NED came in with millions and millions of dollars working with different professors and international agents. And that's what stoked the 2021, the quote unquote, rebellion that we saw. And this is what forces the Cuban government to defend themselves and defend their sovereignty. So then CNN and Fox and the regime change arms here can say, look at the Cuban government, they're so savage and repressive, without knowing USAID and the CIA's role in stoking those flames.
You know, for me, what I can't get my head around, I mean, every single outlet is talking about this whole USAID disintegrating. I mean, for Trump, it could be a personal vendetta, but the so-called deep state has really been exposed here. And for me, the question is why are they allowing it to happen? This is doing irreparable damage to Washington around the world. So why, Danny?
Oh, Saskia, you're asking all the questions that we're asking, because at first glance, it's heroic what Trump is doing, dismantling the foreign policy establishment. For example, USAID has funded 90% of all media in the Ukraine, the pro-NATO, pro-US, Russia-phobic, anti-Russian media, 90% funded by the US foreign policy establishment. So by Trump doing all of this, well, what's Trump going to do? Is he going to take that $44 billion in the budget of USAID? Is he going to invest it like he promised to in the Midwest and across the United States? That would be an amazing thing we would be grateful for. Or are they going to repurpose this $44 billion into the Pentagon, into the CIA, into the State Department to continue to overthrow and meddle in countries like Bangladesh, like Haiti, like Cuba, like Ukraine? Look at Romania. And any president around the world who says, no, we don't want a new U.S. base in Bangladesh or Romania, that person then has to be overthrown. So the world can see clearer than ever what we anti-imperialists have been saying for decades, that U.S. aid is indeed one of the main instruments of soft imperialism.
Well, it'll also be very interesting, of course, to see how countries all around the world now react to Washington moving forward. Will they welcome this agency or any other agency headquartered in Washington, D.C. into its nation? I mean, I personally wouldn't, but hey, that's just me. Daniel, we always appreciate your commentary. Daniel Shaw, Professor of International Affairs at the City University of New York. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.